Scarlet Moon Hall. Along the way, you encountered various individuals who had just left the hall, and upon arriving, it's basically one large hill, and on top of the hill is a tall tower. Outside of the tower is kind of a ring of what once was a stone wall, and a large wicker giant is standing out front and burning. There are numerous bonfires all around the hill with druids, animals, and, as Mishi found out, a camp of bugbears.
Yeah, I'm just going to play out Illyria found them and left them the hell alone.
That's all you had to do. Or just not call them by the B word.
I should have just walked away. Like, okay, well, you have a nice night. Goodbye.
You know, before we start, I do have one question I want to ask you guys. I need some advice.
Uh-oh.
Should the Vault Boy start having adventures with me?
A Vault Boy companion?
I mean, should I just, like, take him and take pictures of him in random places?
I think yes. He'll be like Flat Stanley, but the Vault Boy.
That's funny.
That would, then I would actually have to go out and,
Yeah.
I don't know, do interesting things, but...
Or it would just look like you're doing interesting things. Just Photoshop yourself in.
Photoshop him in. Okay, I don't have to Photoshop me in, just him. That's an
Problem
excellent...
solved. Problem solved.
That's funny. I've actually got my my Vault Tech lunchbox at work next to a stuffed squirrel. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, mine's still here. That's where I hide all my money. Oh, wait, I mean,
caps.
that is absolutely
Caps.
not where I
Your valuable
put
gems.
anything.
That's
Your
why
pre-war money.
your bottle caps are.
That would actually be really
Alright.
funny. Start putting my beer bottle caps in there.
Save them for the future, man.
Yeah, save this for some lone survivor to just wander through and steal someday. Have no appreciation for its actual value.
Yep.
So I just thought of something that might be overpowered for this metal oracle.
Then you can't have it.
Yeah,
But-
probably.
but it requires setup. So if if I were to take the rusting grasp revelation, then I can instantly destroy a weapon that's not being held by something. So if I could find a way to disarm people, then I can instantly destroy their weapon.
Assuming it's a metal weapon.
Assuming it's a metal weapon, of course. But I thought it was funny. I was like, oh, how can I... Oh, we're rolling.
Oh
Well,
my gosh!
Currently, only Mushi is rolling for right
They put
now.
the initiative thing
Oh.
up, so I just figured to go ahead and roll.
Yeah,
No.
I should have said. So,
Oh,
Well, you
for
did
right
good.
now, it's Mushi.
That's
Because
like your
she's
first turn.
currently got two... She's got one bolt sticking out of her stomach, and another one that just whizzed right by her.
Oh, I didn't even know you were attacked. I didn't listen to that.
I think we
portion.
verified at the end of last week that we heard her scream.
I don't think she's screamed out yet. She got shot, and
Not
that's where we
yet.
ended it.
So I thought she
Now-
screamed in
plan
pain.
to warn you.
Mushi, first up, you've got a bolt sticking out of you after letting the B word slip. What would you like to do?
So excited. Okay, so just to make sure, I can do a reaction and my action, correct?
Yes, you just got
Okay.
shot.
I'm ready. So I am going to use my reaction. If I can find it. I just saw it 1 second. At the guy who shot me, whichever one of the three he is.
That's the second guy.
Okay. And then I'm going to be, I was not looking for trouble, but if a fight's what you want, a fight's what you will have.
All right. If they
You're
make
saying
the
that
dex
after you
save,
got shot?
Yes.
Wow.
if they make the dex save, is it no damage or half damage for Hellish Rebuke?
I think it's half. What is that torch?
What?
The torch just spoke. I don't know.
I guess
Sorry,
maybe
I'm
one that's
like-
carrying a torch.
Half damage on a fail. So be sure to add that to the failure on that spell. It's half damage. So that would be 4 fire damage to Mr. Bugbear. And what else were you going to do, you said?
Okay, I am going to step back to here.
You're gonna do it, aren't you?
Yes. I hope you guys will be able to see this. And aiming at the farthest one,
Okay.
I'm going to fireball his ass.
So it's going to... Can you see that red circle?
Yes.
Okay, that's the area for that spell. So there's going to be a lot of dex saves happening right now.
I am just so happy I got first in initiative. Like, oh my god.
This guy is dead.
That's a lot of damage too.
Yes.
That's pretty good rolling.
Yeah, that's a good roll.
I'm so excited right now. I've been waiting all week for this.
Neither of them passed. So you hear 2 yelps from the brush
Oh, dear.
as the bushes themselves light fire, and you can hear this shrieking howl that just kind of fades. And half of 37.
It's 22, right?
What?
I don't think so.
Trying to help out, Lucas. Come on.
I'm
I
so
didn't say
excited.
anything. That's me. I just said
You
what?
said what?
I just came in. I don't know what I'm even looking at.
I'm so excited. I fireballed them.
Nice.
I killed 3 of them so far.
So that's what, 18 damage?
Yes, sir.
Look at that math on the fly. Woohoo.
And you're drinking.
That's right.
Um,
My math is better with wine.
And upon this fireball erupting into light over here, the rest of the party can roll initiative.
Where
Assuming
the
I
hell
assume they
am I?
saw it.
that does-
I
they-
can't. I can't just keep.
Oh, there I am. There I am.
what?
And
Actually, yes, you can go ahead and keep that. Probably shouldn't have just deleted them.
I don't know how I rolled higher than Illyria though. Like that was luck on my side for once in my entire life.
Really? I rolled a 4. Wait. What the hell is this? Plus 3 plus 0 plus 4? Floor?
What?
What the hell did you do to my initiative modifier?
I didn't touch your initiative modifier.
What? No, it says that there's floor.
It says 4
in-
plus 3
Plus
plus
floor.
the lower of 3 or 2.
Mine says plus floor.
Yeah, floor is
It's, yeah, so
the lower of
3 divided by 2, and then the lower.
rounded down.
Okay.
I don't know why it's doing that, though.
Let the
Do
body
Do you have something that gives you like level type effects,
Because
like half your levels?
I'm guessing the first 3 is for your dex modifier.
Right. Yeah. Plus
I
my
don't
jack of all
know.
trades, which is half proficiency bonus. Okay, that's what it's doing.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so so apparently the floor is my jack of all
It
trades,
rounds down.
which is proficiency divided by 2.
Right, rounded down.
So 3 divided by 2.
I just don't know what.
Don't you know your Excel functions?
But not floor. Floor
There's also ceiling
doesn't
that rounds
make-
up.
I know, but it didn't make sense in this context because I'm drinking.
See, floor.
If I see the floor, you won't see me. So
But see, the thing is, like floor, it doesn't just round. It will eliminate any remainder. So if you get like 1.1, it rounds it to 1. If you get 1.9, it rounds it to 1.
right.
Because it
All right.
defaults to rounding, 0.5 and up goes up, 0.49 and down goes down.
Mushi, do you have control of Cassie's sheet?
I can't believe I got an 8. I'll get there eventually, guys.
Yes, I do.
Okay, would you mind playing her?
I
until
can.
Megan shows up.
But she would also like to take 2 more steps back. And assuming this camp behind her, she is going to yell back there and be like, "Be warned, there are bugbears."
Okay.
That way.
So, real quick, can everyone see a kind of brown circle around all the campfires?
Yes.
Or any campfire scene? So those, in that circle, it's a flat area. Because this is all basically one giant hill. So going up the hill, this map is built kind of like a topographic map. Going up the hill, it's half your movement speed. So it's like difficult terrain, unless you use like one of the paths or roadways that are considered flat, or in one of those areas around a campfire that's considered flat. Going down the hill or around the hill, it's normal movement.
10-4.
And we're trying to get to the orange, because that's where the bugbears are.
You just saw an eruption of flame and light coming from up the hill.
Gotcha.
And probably some howling shrieks as well.
Probably.
And a sound like the world's biggest fart.
Oh, snap. I can change my rapier to use strength instead of dex.
All right. So, Cassie.
Okay. Hearing and seeing what has just happened, she's going to do a double movement and I forgot she can't see.
You're going.
She's going to go there. I'm like, I can't see anything.
Okay, so going up the hill, unless she's on the road, it would be double movement. So
she's on the road.
the path. Okay.
Yeah. And that's where she is going. And that's her. That's what you got.
All right, Illyria.
Illyria is basically going to sigh. But she's pretty sure she knows what just happened.
Fireballs come out. Either someone on her team died. Or
My bad.
else died.
And she is also going to double move. Oops, that way.
She can triple move if she wants, right?
Yeah.
How?
She can
She
take
can use
a dash twice.
movement, action to dash, and then her bonus action to dash.
Yeah. Then she's going to triple move.
All right.
Because she's a baller shot caller. Oh.
Holler.
Hey, yo.
She'll be here in no time.
Alright, so where is Mushi? I can't even see her.
She's over here.
Up the hill. You might not have light to see her.
No, well, I can see her now. It's just
Okay, you can kind of see her, yeah.
You know, I'm like super zoomed out because it's a big map.
Big map, yeah.
Big map.
And one of your party members decided to go all the way to a different camp on the far side.
Clearly, I wasn't thinking last week, guys, okay? I'm sorry.
How many bottles of wine did you have last week?
Just one.
All right, Gravender. You can see a worried look from the druids that are kind of surrounding you at this point after having Cassie and Illyria both just take off towards the eruption of light up the hill. And the older guy turns to you and says, "What's going on up there?"
I don't know. My friend's in trouble. And he's going to run in the most direct path. Let's see it. So it's half movement once I get to the hill.
Yeah. So basically off the path if you're going against the grain of the lines.
Right. So
You can follow this path first.
Can I get over there? Or is that too far?
Yeah, you can get there.
Okay. And so that's one. And then 1, 2. There.
All right. And Mushi, you can see the druids around this campfire. One of them places his hands upon another druid. And you can hear some chanting. as he whispers something, and the druid next to him kind of erupts in a small shimmer of light momentarily.
Do I recognize this light, or would I have to like check?
You would have to check because this one's not one that's on your list, I believe.
Okay.
And he runs to about there, and he looks like he's kind of just readying himself with his staff. And the two burnt up bugbears that remain, you can hear them kind of roaring as they pat out the flames from their fur, and they scream in your direction, and begin charging towards you as the furthest one lets out another bolt from his crossbow.
I am going to cast my shield, but my magic button up at the top disappeared.
Okay, it
Click on your character and then it'll
should be on like your spell slots or something like that.
I found it. It's just
Awesome.
normally there was like a shield up top, and that
Yeah.
one's gone now. Now it's on my menu.
All
Did
right,
you creature wild magic surge?
all right.
I'm
So,
glad I didn't do that on the fireball. That would have been bad.
so what is your AC currently?
Oh dear. 17.
Oh, that's with the +5 from shield.
No,
So
now it's
23.
22.
So it's 22.
Yeah.
Okay, so he got a 23.
Ah.
So you're going to take 5 piercing damage, but you do maintain the shield for the rest of the round.
Okay.
As the one that you were talking to comes running up to you and flings his morning star at you, and it slams into this invisible barrier that you've cast upon yourself. And he looks furious as he's just wailing away at this invisible force on him. On
Okay,
you,
friends.
rather.
I'm ready. Oh Lord. Okay. Let's see.
You can see another druid laying hands on the similar druid, and another shimmer of light gleams across him. And this druid, too, kind of steps around the fire and looks to be kind of readying himself with his staff. And with that, Lothar's up.
Okay, Lothar's gonna double move to right there. And that's
All
my
right.
turn.
All right. Okay, so now the kind of shimmering druid steps forward. 10, 15, 25, 30, 35, 40.
Wow.
Makes it to there. And he reaches forward, places a hand upon Mushi. And can you see
Yes.
A
Big old
teal
blue
circle.
the teal circle? All right. So
What just happened?
as he places his hand upon you, and you can hear him chanting this spell, the very wind and rain starts to pick up around you, and it begins forming this sleet cloud within this radius. And go ahead, and everyone in this circle is going to roll a dexterity save.
Who cast this?
The
One of the
druid
druids.
just stepped up to her.
Oh dear.
I'm not sure if I like this guy.
Yushi, you can hear a noise as there's a bit of a cluttering in front of you, and you could probably make out that the bugbear in front of you just fell on his face.
I'm okay with that.
You can hear what sounds like another fall further behind you. A pair of fall, as there's more clutter behind you. But the individual remains with his hand upon your shoulder, and you can hear a voice as he speaks to you. He says, "Take your friends and leave this place now. The ritual is not to be interrupted. We will stop you if it comes to that. We do not wish to hurt you. We are peaceful peoples. But the ritual must not be interrupted. I give you and your friends this one opportunity to leave, or we will force you out."
I had no intention of interrupting your ritual. These bugbears attacked me, and I only acted in self-defense. I can guarantee after their passing, there will be no more disturbances from us.
And another druid steps into the ring and quickly falls on his face as he does so. But he disappears from Illyria's sight within this swirling, almost thick fog of sleet that is in this area around Mushi. And Mushi, you can hear the voice responding to you somewhere in this sleet that if you wish, return within a 10-day, and I will tell you everything you wish to know about these Scarlet Moon druids. But for now, you risk your own life as well as mine by being here. Please go now.
Before we leave, can I at least get your name so I know who to find in a 10-day?
My name is Saruki. And with that, the sleet storm around you vanishes. And you can see all the figures surrounding you once again. The bugbear in front of you, flat on his face, along with a number of druids along the path behind you. And with that, you're up. And it looks like he's kind of the druid closest to you is kind of taking a defensive stance against you.
Against me?
Against you.
And she says, "Let me help you defeat these bugbears, and we will be on our way."
And he shouts back, "I know not what you speak. These bugbears are our friends."
And she looks at the arrow still sticking in her because she never took it out. And she says, "I told them I meant no harm, and they shot me."
Hey, Megan.
Hey, sorry. I'm so sorry I was late, and I was going to the mall with my sister for workout, and I went stop at little groceries to get some
No worries.
barbecue stuff.
You're here
Okay. All right. Uh-oh, so I guess we're in the battle.
So he looks down at the arrows sticking out of Mushi and he says, "If they were provoked, that is your own fault."
What do we do now? Oh, snap.
I'm like stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. I did not think this was gonna happen at all. Oh my god.
Oh, man.
Oh fuck it, I guess we'll leave. I guess I'll just go.
Right.
Oh my god. This is so frustrating. Um. She's going to look at him, and she's going to put up her hand so he can see the symbol on her hand. And she said, I was called here for a reason, and I would not like to leave without answers I'm seeking. However, we mean no harm to this camp nor the people, so I apologize for any disturbances there may have been. I hope we can continue civilly from here out. Yeah. Fingers crossed, guys.
Right.
Yeah, just they randomly combusted. I had no control.
All right, so he looks to the symbol in your hand, I guess. He looks to the symbol that you're showing him with your hand, and he looks visibly awestruck at seeing it. And he kind of takes a split second before he meets your gaze again. He kind of quietly whispers to you, out of earshot of even the bugbear next to you. He says, not all here are with the same fire cult. Not all see that symbol as one of hope, but of destruction and pure evil. So, Mushi, with your turn, what would you like to do?
I don't want to fight them. Damn it. If I walk away, will they do
So
attacks on
the
me?
bugbear laying on the ground in front of you would not get an attack of opportunity because he's currently prone. But the druid could take an attack of opportunity.
Okay. She is going to repeat herself one last time. She said, as I've said before, I mean no harm. I am only here for answers. And with that, she's going to step away. And as she's stepping away, she says, if leaving is the only way to prove that, then I will be on my way. And she's going to walk around him. Okay, let's redo this. She's going to walk around him. So she doesn't go next to the other guy, really. You know, kind of swivel away. Oh, next to that guy anyway, screw it. So
Okay.
if he takes an
This guy's
opportunity
laying on the
attack.
ground.
Yeah.
All right, so he does not swing at you as you step away. He just kind of follows your gaze as you walk around him. And with that,
And-
Cassie...
Seeing Illyria approaching, she's going to put her hands up and be like, it's done. There's nothing more here.
All right, so Cassie,
And then
you are currently right here coming up the hill. You just saw a large explosion of flame and fire up the hill that kind of distracted you from petting the elk down where you were. And so you spent your last turn running up this hill, up this pathway to try and get closer to that explosion. So you're currently running up this hill. What would you like to do?
I'm go ahead trying to find a Mushi and to hear what was all the explosion. And
All right. So remember, your movement speed is only 30 feet.
okay,
And so you could run along the roadway or cut across the hill, but to there if you would like to spend your entire turn moving.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll save my turn.
All right, so like holding your action for something?
Yeah, hold my action.
All right. So what would you like to hold your turn till? So,
I mean-
essentially, what would you like to trigger your turn?
Well, I guess I could move a little bit, and then that'll be end of my turn.
All right. So where did you want to move towards?
I guess, I guess right here.
All right.
Yeah, and that'll be end of my turn.
All right. So you can see two druids. You can guess, judging by the garb that they're wearing, are kind of laying on the floor next to this bonfire. You can see Mushi in the distance and another druid laying on the floor, and Illyria just to your side. And with that, Illyria's up.
Come on, Ilaria. Oh, they're in pain or unconscious.
It looks like they just kind of
I was muted.
essentially like tripped
Oh,
and fell down.
okay.
Illyria is going to draw her bow and take a bead on, well, basically the bugbear and the druid. But for now, she's going to hold and see if the bugbear does anything stupid. Because
Right.
Mushi said,
And
no,
that's
chill.
these two?
Yeah,
Okay.
those two.
And with that, Grabender's up.
Bender doesn't know anything else is going on, so he's still running.
All right.
There's a double move. He clearly chose the right path.
All right. So the closest druid to Mushi picks himself up, and he looks to Mushi and he says, "What is the meaning of this spell you cast upon us?" I think you're muted.
She's miming chicken words.
She's doing the chicken dance because she's got her right foot in and then her
I
left
was
foot out.
trying sign language to see if you guys could understand, and you failed.
Well, okay, do it again. I wasn't watching. I didn't know. Pay attention.
Okay. And she's going to once again look at the arrow embedded in her and pull it out finally. I guess why not?
That's gonna hurt.
I got this. Okay. And she said the meaning behind this was an arrow shot towards me. I was only acting in defense. I did nothing to show any dislike nor aggression towards these bugbears, other than call them bugbears. So I apologize for offending anyone, but I don't take shots to myself very easily.
And he looks very confused. So roll me a persuasion check.
Oh man. Can I do like deception instead?
No.
A little late.
Damn. Do I get like advantage?
If you can tell me why you should have advantage before you would make the
Arrow from her
roll.
gut.
So you can see him kind of place a hand upon himself, and a similar sheen, kind of somewhat similar to the sheen that you just had upon yourself, but his skin takes kind of like an oak-like appearance to it, as you can hear the kind of tightening of his own skin as it roughens up. And with that,
Turned himself into a tree.
his skin looks to be taking the similar properties to that of a bark tree.
Easier to burn you with. No. I didn't say it. That was out of character.
And with that, the bugbear with the crossbow continues to charge forward, And the druid with the staff kind of places his staff in front of the bugbear, kind of like against his chest, not striking him as much as it's kind of like blocking him. And he says, "What is the meaning of all of this?" And between the two bugbears, you can hear what you recognize as being goblin speak, as they are talking with this druid, and he's kind of nodding his head along with what they're saying before he shouts back at them in common, "This is no reason to attack an individual for simply stating what you are. You should be ashamed of yourselves. We welcomed you upon this hill for the purposes of the wicked giant ritual, to welcome you into this circle as one of our own. And you choose to attack another individual just as curious as you were." And sorry, I'm doing rolls for them just because as the DM I could have them do whatever I want, but instead I'll be like, "Hey, have them roll for it." And the bugbears seem to be embarrassed about the behaviors. They're kind of just cowering back a little bit as this druid is just kind of shouting louder and louder at them. And you can see him. Oh, he's gripping his staff even tighter as his words grow louder. And he continues just kind of belittling them in front of everybody. And the bugbear who just stood up is going to take a step back. And I'm going to have to refresh roll 20.
Look at she's really put some pants on, man.
I have pants on, thank you very much.
No, you have polka dotted underwear on.
No. They are Christmas light bulbs on a black background.
So they glow in the dark.
Maybe later.
We'll see.
Okay, so the druid closer to Cassie stands up, brushes himself off, places a hand upon himself, and casts a similar spell where his own skin turns to that of a very bark-like appearance. With that, Lothar's up.
Alright. Lothar will move. Let's see here. I can go. No. Cancel. Stop it.
The two druids that you're approaching look to Lothar somewhat confused as he's running towards the edges of their firelight.
That's fine. All right, so I'm just gonna ignore him. So that's 15. All right, so half of would we round down to 10 feet for half of 15, or
for half of 15? Yeah, rounds down to 10.
Okay. All right, so hey, look at that! I get to wind up right next to Grabinder with a movement.
Twinsies.
Yeah, but I still have my action because that was just one movement. What do I see?
Yes, you do.
From where I'm at? Am I like way below them, or?
The hill's kind of steep, but you can see. I would say you can see everyone within the firelight of this. First, probably everyone, more or less, kind of in silhouettes for these three over here, but everyone in that brown circle you can see.
Okay. So if I take one step into here, it's only 5 feet of movement, right? Because the dark brown is normal terrain?
Right.
Okay. So in that case, I'm going to use my action to double move. So that's 5. And I would like to stand right here.
All right.
And I'm just going to grimace. And that's it. That's my turn.
All right. You can see the druid that you just stepped up to is kind of gripping his staff tightly as he's kind of more or less pointing his staff at the upcoming individual in the armor.
That's, yeah, and
Who's
I'm going to
currently
try
grimacing.
to get in front of Miyushi.
All right.
So, try to block in front of her.
All right.
And that'll be my turn.
Okay. And that's strange. So your guys' audio is all coming through my headphones, but the sound of that roll just came through my speakers.
Way to go, roll 20.
But you can see the guy as he's kind of like very visibly tensing up at this guy who's just kind of stepped up to him between him and Mushi. He's not looking very easy as a shimmer of light kind of wraps around him as he seems to be stuck in place. And looking up, you can see the kind of the bluish tinted robed guy has got his staff pointed at the druid and seems to have cast some kind of holding spell upon him to stop him from doing something he might regret as he shouts out, "We are a peaceful community and we mean no harm to anyone, no matter what they may or may not have done. Everyone is welcome here and should feel as such. And we will not jump to violence despite anything that may or may not have happened upon this hill. For we are all here for a greater purpose. Remember this, Ragnad." And the other druid, closer to Cassie, stands himself back up. And he too places a hand upon himself, and his skin seems to harden as he kind of steps back a bit from all the newcomers. And with that, Mushi is up.
She's going to turn around because she was walking away from the cloaked man, Saruki. And she's going to say, "I hope your better understanding on the situation has persuaded you to allow us to stay and further help you with your ritual. Once again, it was not my intentions."
And he meets your gaze, and he speaks back to you. "It is as we said before. I believe these terms would be most agreeable for everyone involved." And he kind of points to the bugbear closest to him with his staff and gestures towards the druid that's currently being held by his spell.
"Well, then I have your word that I will see you in a 10-day with answers that I may seek."
And Mushi, make me a perception check.
Am I looking at the person that she's talking to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bender and Cassie and Illyria, can the three of you make me perception checks as well?
Sure.
Lothar, it's as you said, you're looking.
Perception checks.
this guy.
He's searching for it.
Well,
It works.
it rolls.
Megan,
Okay.
can you do me a perception check?
To me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa. Woof, woof.
Man, that wolf kicks in offline.
Uh-oh. I'm trying to...
Did the dog scare you there, Zen?
Apparently.
Okay, excuse me. So, is it perception or persuasion?
Perception.
Okay.
And Ben, can I get one for Illyria too?
Oh, right.
Oh,
Right, I'm playing 2
and
characters.
16 pad.
All right, so Cassie, despite everything that's going on, you're kind of being distracted by the way that the firelight's flickering in front of you.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, both Grabender and Illyria are kind of sizing up all of these individuals that they are coming upon up on this hill as it's as God only knows what's going on up here. And as Mushi speaks this response back to him that she'll see him in a 10-day, the other druids, these two, look visibly confused at this remark, while the third one remains expressionless as he's still being held in place.
Okay. Oh.
Have we got a crest?
I'm doodling. I'm sorry.
I think it works.
It works.
What
Mushi, is
happened?
there anything else you'd like to do this turn?
Well, he never answered me. I mean, I did it at perception, so if he lies to me, I won't know. But
That would be an insight as to whether or not he's lying.
oh, okay. Well,
You
I
can
might
see if
do
his
that.
lips are moving or not with a perception.
I don't. What was I perceiving then?
We
You don't know.
We don't know.
Ah.
And apparently it's happening behind me because I don't get to see it.
But I would like an answer.
All right, so you're waiting there, and he is not responding. You can see him kind of visibly grimacing a bit as if he's heard something that he didn't want to hear. Like he looks a little upset.
But he just told me that like 2 minutes ago.
Things are getting hairy around here.
I know. And she says, "It is late, and we have been traveling long. We will make camp for the night and make permanent plans in the morning."
And he responds to this saying, "You can stay with the druids furthest down the hill, farthest from the tower."
That was my intention.
All right.
And she begins walking away again.
All right. Cassie, is there anything you would like to do?
So we're not going to attack them?
That's
No.
up to you.
Probably I'm not going to attack them since Mushi is talking. I don't want to. I hope it's not like a defense or anything. And Like, I mean, did some already died before I just jump in?
So you're not entirely sure what the heck happened up on the
No.
hill that really drew your attention, because you saw an explosion of light
Yes.
up on the hill, along with some shrieks, screams, and yelps. And then you were greeted by Mushi, who seems to just kind of be walking away from that direction.
Yeah. And that will be end of my turn.
All right. So I guess I'll go ahead and just kind of throw this to the group. So is there anything hostile, so to say, that anyone would like to do?
Like to do or actually going to do?
I guess going to do.
No.
Otherwise, we can just drop out of initiative.
Okay.
I mean, if that bugbear had taken one more step forward, Lyra was going to plant an arrow in his chest. But Grabender's going to totally take his turn and run up and heal Mushi. He saw her pluck an arrow out of her gut.
All right. But otherwise,
No, I guess not. I'm just going to sit here and think about Demolition
Well-
Man.
We'll play nice for now.
Yes.
all right. How about Lothar?
Oh god, Lothar really wants to do something. But he's not. Because
what
I have
happened?
no idea what the hell I'm doing.
Oh, what happened to Lothar? Did he change?
Yes.
Oh.
No, I'm gonna go ahead and keep my eye on this guy, and I'm gonna walk kind of sideways, and just I'm gonna keep right tight with the rest of the group.
Can you see the names under those two?
I could if I zoomed in.
Well, I was just okay. So the green one or the blue one that you're keeping eyes on?
Ragnad, because he's the one that was
Okay.
up in our grill, so I'm gonna keep my eye on him as I'm walking
Okay.
by, and then obviously I'm just gonna keep an area view as I'm kind of walking backwards.
All right. So the druid in the blue robes walks up the hill with the bugbears back towards their campsite. And after a moment or two, the spell that seems to be holding the druid fades, and he kind of just, as he just breaks free of this. And the druids all around this bonfire are all just kind of looking in the direction of the group.
And I'm going to look at them and like my group and be like, let's head back down the mountain for now. Please. And with that, she's going to head back down the mountain. Assuming everyone's following her.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay like within 10 feet of her, just
All right.
making sure people don't
Grabender's
do
going
something.
confused and assume he meant down the mountain.
Grabender's having a much easier time just going right back down the hill.
Yeah, down the hill was way easier.
And once again, these druids at this campsite seem to be intrigued by all the movement that's happening right outside of their firelight. And Cassie, as you get back to this bonfire, you can see the elder druid, the pair of men, and the woman are all kind of standing more or less at attention, as if kind of waiting to see what happened. And
Okay.
the closest druid to Cassie kind of leans in and he says, "Is everything all right?"
Well, we have a little, excuse me, I'm a bit of a gibberish. I just heard an explosion, and I just came to my group and see what's going on. And I don't think nothing happened.
He says, "Oh, yes, we all saw the explosion when the lot of you just ran off towards it. What happened up there?"
Oh, Nishi, could you explain?
Maybe. Misha's going to take a step forward and explain. I was going from camp to camp trying to get information about this ritual. I stumbled across a camp of bugbears. And I was having quite a pleasant conversation with them until I called them bugbears. And then they shot me. And I will admit I might have gotten a little overenthusiastic, but I don't take well to arrows. And things happened. And now I believe we are at an agreement of peace. So all is well.
And as she says that, I cast mending on her robe to get rid of the hole where the bolts went through.
I appreciate it.
Since they are not magic, I can do that.
All right. So the druid, kind of overhearing this, says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I suppose we could have mentioned that there were bugbears, but they have not taken any hostile action towards anyone. They've been just as equally welcomed into this camp as the lot of you, I suppose."
Well, I meant them no harm. Originally.
Until they shot her.
Well, I'm glad that everything was able to come to terms without any harm coming to anyone.
For the most part, yes.
And then Cassie, kind of worried about. And then Cassie was a little worried about Nushi. How did she get? Why did she get stabbed? And about. I'm trying to tell Nushi, and I'm trying to warn her for be careful what she said.
And she nods. I have learned certain words can trigger all kinds of people.
And Cassie nodded.
And she looks back at the group and she says, "However, we would like to make camp. Do you have any suggestions where the best place to do that would be?"
So the old guy kind of hears this and perks up a little bit. He says, "As I said, you're more than welcome to join us in our campsite." And the kind of younger guy who hasn't really spoke up yet kind of excitedly hops forward just a little bit. He says, if you stay here with us, we can burst out some of the fancier ales that we've received. Truly a purpose worth celebrating. New friends, I mean." And the old guy kind of raises his hand to the younger druid. He says, "Now, Vargo, they will come to their own decision. They do not need your bribery. They can stay wherever they choose. This is a large hill, after all."
I'm gonna step up next to Miyushi and I'll whisper in her ear, "Remember, I can make a shelter for us that will protect us from any intruders throughout the night. All we need is a flat piece of land."
What about the druid crab? I have a druid crab. Could that make a camping or not really?
Not really for druidcraft. No,
I think
it's
you can make
much
a
smaller
bonfire
things.
with it, right?
Yeah, I can make a bonfire with a druid crab.
How big is this hut he makes?
It's 10-foot radius.
It is that big.
It is that big. It's enough room for everybody to lay out.
Can we possibly put it here, or is that on too much of a hill?
Well, it'll form to the hill. I mean, we just need to have the width.
And she says, we appreciate your offer, and we will be more than happy to join you for most of the night. However, we will have our own sleeping quarters. But we are more than happy to have company.
The older druid speaks up again. He says, I suppose that would be most considerate of you. I appreciate this. Thank you.
And she nods. I don't know what to do.
And is that okay? I can go ahead and cast the druid craft.
And the druid closest to Cassie kind of points back to the bonfire right over his shoulder. He says, I think we've got enough fire for ourselves.
Oh.
If you want to start your own, feel free.
Okay, I thought if we're having our own camp, I thought. Okay, never mind.
How flat is this particular area? Is it really steep or?
It's pretty steep.
Pretty steep. How about?
What about this? With this area?
Or like over here.
Like where the compass is, it's a little flatter.
Oh, I didn't even see a compass.
There's a compass over there. Yeah, let's plop right here because I'd rather have some eyesight of multiple ways in.
All right.
Sounds good.
So.
When
you're all ready, come and get me, and I'll be preparing for the night. And I'll move over here.
And the blonde druid speaks out as Lothar is walking away. Lothar can clearly hear him shouting out, that means I get his share of the drinks. I'm calling it now.
That is perfectly all right. I seem to have a hole in my throat, so I can't keep down fluids. As I'm walking away.
Glad I wasn't there to hear that.
And the druids kind of look amongst themselves like, both with kind of that ew face and also confused.
Like, is he serious?
And the druid closer to Mishi kind of steps towards Mishi and he says, there are clerics that can heal holes in throats. What happened?
Oh my god, nobody else knows either.
I believe he was trying to make a joke. I am not sure.
I'm afraid I don't share your friend's sense of humor then.
I'm afraid I do not either.
Well, nevertheless, will the two of you be joining us for celebration?
Where did Gerbender go?
He's still
He
coming
seemed to
down
kind
the
of
hill.
storm off down the hill.
Oh, Lord. Gerbender, no! How far down does the hill go?
No.
Like, I thought this was the edge.
You guys saw me, like, as you were talking to the druids down here at the bottom camp.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting rather upset, and so I stalked off.
Why did you get upset?
I'm not there to ask.
Damn it, Gerbender. What happened?
We all have secrets.
Apparently so.
Can I do history check? If I can remember about the druids in the past.
So remember you did that last week
Oh,
about the Scarlet Moon druids.
okay.
And the best you could recall, there was nothing in your father's books or anything you read about or could remember that even kind of hinted about a third druidic circle. This is all completely new to Cassie.
Okay.
She would like to walk around and get to, not really like in between them, like just around them and look at the old man. And
Right. While she's doing that, the blonde druid steps into one of the tents.
Rebecca.
All right.
Okay.
I have to write down the things I say now, just in case if anybody freaking tries to say something about it.
All right.
Okay, she's going to look at him and I don't know. I had it in my head and I just lost it. Shit. This ritual you are casting, I've heard it has to do with fire. I see from all the burning wicker man.
And the girl kind of lets out a little giggle as the old guy's like, "It is called the rite of the wicker giant, but the bonfires you see around the hill are merely for our own eyesight, as we fail to see in the dark as some such as yourself would. We have no such vision, and besides, as I said before, I am not the one casting this ritual, but another. I believe his name was Elazar. He's the one up in the tower, further up the hill, who is casting this ritual. I believe the only fire that is important to his ritual would be that of the actual wicker giant. You see, it's so. A bit of an interesting fact, if you will. That same wicker giant has been burning since we arrived here, and yet it shows no hint of actually burning. The wood itself remains there. It's remarkable. Maybe, which kind of shows that perhaps there is something more to the claims that this individual is making. Perhaps he does have if only an inkling of control over these elements.
So you're saying you believe he is having control over the fire to not actually burn the wood, yet keep a flame?
It's been the same flame that's burned for nearly 2 months now, and yet the wood remains unburnt. I know of nothing that could explain such. Do you?
I cannot say that I do.
And go ahead.
I'm curious about changing the avatar, because I just drew a new artwork of Cassie. And
so remember how Lothar was kind of attacked by that mystical suit of armor? So this is just to reflect that.
Oh, okay.
What are we reflecting?
You're changing the token? New Lothar?
Yes.
So the blonde druid steps back out from the tent he was in, and he's got a small barrel with a marking on it, and he looks visibly excited as it's got a tap on the side, and he looks ready to start celebrating. If Mushi and Cassie could tell me their passive perceptions.
Am I within earshot of any of this? Or am I too far away?
I'd say you're probably too far away, only because they moved closer to have this conversation, so they're not really shouting it at each other anymore.
All right. Well, I'm while I'm waiting, I'm gonna keep an eye as I'm gonna stay out of the light of the bonfire, but I want to keep an eye on Miyoshi and Cassie since they're by themselves over there. So how close can I get before I'm like in like dim light?
You go 5 feet further away, or you're currently in dim light.
Mm-hmm.
It's dim light starting from there and going out.
Okay. Which is 60 feet if they had dim light vision.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Well, I mean, there are also varying kinds of dark vision.
Right. All right. Well, I'm gonna just stay on the outskirts then, just kind of keeping an eye, make sure that I can see both of them.
Okay.
So.
All right. So, Mushi and Cassie, what are your passive perceptions?
It's not the roll.
Mine's
It's
10.
the number next to the roll.
Shoot. I'm a little confused. I accidentally roll. Well, my last perception check, I guess 2 was the last time. Well, a while ago.
It looks like you're not proficient with perception, and you get the +1 to it. So I believe your passive perception would be an 11.
Okay.
So, Cassie, you see this symbol on the barrel that he just brought out.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's kind of on the side of the barrel that's been tapped, and he's kind of pouring a round of drinks for everyone around this bonfire.
Okay.
Before he kind of sets it to the side and hands drinks out to everybody.
I'm. Which way is Miyushi facing? Is she looking
I
at
would
Towards
the old
assume
the
man?
fire.
towards the old, yeah, towards the fire.
Fire, old man.
I'm gonna go like this. Don't drink. Seeing him walk out with, we can't trust. I'm like, hey, don't. He walked out with a keg. Don't drink it.
And she nods. Not really like nodding, but like kind of like giving him like the I got you, okay.
And Cassie, I assume, can't see me, so.
No, I don't see you.
She does have this large bonfire
But,
between you and her. So the round of drinks gets passed out, 1 to everybody around this bonfire, and the blonde druid kind of reaches his glass up towards the middle of the bonfire. He says, "To new friends."
And I hold the glass to new cheers.
Misha, I think you're muted again.
Uh-oh.
I'm getting more drink, and the door is loud, so I was trying to mute that.
Well, as long as it's not as loud as the dogs, you'll be all right.
I know, those dogs. They weren't even barking at anything. Nothing.
So they all raise their glasses up, and the 3 others kind of echo this cheer. To new friends.
To new friends.
Misha repeats and fakes a drink, but doesn't
All
actually drink any.
So the 4 druids all around the bonfire look to be drinking their drinks.
Does it pick us?
The big glass, the big one.
Well, in one
The
cup,
small
I have
one.
to use it twice, and in this cup, it fills it up like halfway.
Oh.
So it's like, what the hell? I'm like, this one's a bigger glass. That's why.
Just get like the 32-ounce cup from Circle K.
Yeah, the insulated one that you can,
All right, so Cassie, you've got this glass in your hands, and everyone around the bonfire has just cheered. He said to new friends, and then they are all drinking theirs. Mushi's drinking hers. What would you like to do?
I guess, I don't know what else I can do for you. I I just all I do is just smile and have a good time and enjoy it with the new people.
I think he was asking if you were going to drink the drink that
Uh,
was given to you.
oh, I'm probably just gonna sip, like not the whole drink,
Right.
because yeah,
Well,
Don't
you-
chug it, just a few sips.
a few sips.
yeah, just a few sips.
All right. So it tastes surprisingly sweet to your taste. I mean, like back in Fandalen, you had a few drinks, and they weren't necessarily Cassie's favorite, but she drank them when she was with the party. But this tastes significantly sweeter, like something she wouldn't mind trying more of.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
I didn't really have a plan yet, so you go first.
Okay. So the woman kind of leans over toward, or now kind of with drink in hand, is a little less shy around these newcomers, and she speaks to Cassie and to Mushi. She says, "So, where are you from then? What brings you to the Desserin Valley?"
Well, we came far away, and
We heard of this ritual that was happening, and we were more than eager to come and see it for ourselves. For this third ring of druids is new news for us, and we were extremely curious. You see, our friend Cassie here, she may be a little shy, however, she is part druid herself.
Oh, you don't say. That's remarkable. Congratulations on finding your own connection with nature.
thank you.
Have you yourself chosen a circle to align yourself with?
I I'm not sure if I can remember because you see, I lost all of my memories from the past, and I could remember. However, yes, the other day I had a dream. There is a woman who looks just like me, and she's also a druid, and and I couldn't swear if she's really my mother, which means that will be my memories that's coming back to me.
This is remarkable indeed.
Hmm.
Do you have any kind of basis for these memories of yours?
Well, all I remember when my father, who is a sorcerer and he rescued me from the woods, from all those tragedy has happened, and years later, I met a friend who is half elf and druid, and she teach me how to do some nature spells, and she showed me some of her beast-shape abilities.
Is that so? Can you yourself turn to a beast?
Um, I'm not sure yet. I don't have those spells yet. I could be soon as possible.
A number of druids spend a great number of years devoting themselves to such a practice. It takes time and patience. I'm sure it's only a matter of time before you're prancing through the woods, much like these deer here.
I hope so too. But thank you.
And the older druid kind of turns to Mushi while this conversation is happening, and he says, "So, what drew the lot of you together? You're quite a plethora of individuals, if you don't mind my saying so." Everything from a drow to a tiefling to a dragonborn. The rarest of varieties, all combined together. Remarkable.
We are quite a sight, I would say so myself. However, we've been together for so long, it is hard to recall what exactly brought us together in the first place.
Ah, age-old friends, I suppose.
Yes, to say the least. We were, however, drawn here, hearing of this third circle, and I was curious as to how it is different from the original two druid circles.
Well,
And I'm sure Cassie would like to know as well.
Well, if you've been able to study the druidic circles yourself, you would know that we are much more in tune with what happens, much more reactive to the nature around us. Whereas the third circle seems to take a much more headstrong approach in order to change what is happening. You see, as we said, the valley around us has recently been plagued with a variety of weathered-related events that are most unfortunate to the area and its people. And while us druids are able to react to these storms of various types, this circle of the Scarlet Moon proclaims to be able to act before any such storm or the like in order to prevent them from happening hereforth.
These storms, you say, what kind of storms have been happening around this area? I fear we have only recently traveled to this area, so we are...
torrential rainfall has brought flooding. Dry spells have resulted in wildfires. Random tremors throughout the lands, and even strong gusts of winds result in windstorms, tornado-like speeds blowing through.
And so this ritual we are all working towards is supposed to level out all of these storms from happening?
He has proclaimed that should this ritual be completed, he will be able to put a stop to these disasters of the natural occurrence. Although the monsters that have plagued the area since they have started are another matter entirely. You see, they seem, as you may know, monsters are not necessarily compelled by the weather, but since these events have happened, they have plagued the area with their presence.
And she fakes another drink, looking deep in thought.
All right, and like intermittently throughout, they're all just kind of sipping their drinks casually. So Lothar, you keep seeing Mushi kind of sipping at her drink while you're standing on kind of the edge of this bonfire's light.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to... Oh, God, what am I going to do? I don't want to make an ass of myself. Oh, but that's what I do. I make an ass of myself. All right.
It wouldn't be the first time.
It would not be the first time. So, I assume this guy's got the keg right next to him, so I'm going to sit up and say, Miyoshi dear, how long are we waiting until we call it tonight?
And you can see the blonde druid that you kind of step up next to. He looked like drunkenly shocked at this figure who's just appeared next to him, as he seems to be well into a few cups of this concoction he's poured for everyone. He says, hold it. You said you were not going to partake, and you took off. I drank your share. It's gone.
Oh, that is good. Like I said, I was not looking for a drink this evening.
And with that, Mushi will stand up, and she's holding her glass, and she's like, would you mind if I take the rest of this with me? It has been quite an enjoyable evening.
So the blonde druid looks visibly kind of upset, while the older druid kind of gestures saying, oh, please, enjoy it in your own leisure. Some of us are much more adept at self-control than others appear to be. And he kind of shoots a glance over at the blonde druid.
And she lets out a small laugh. And continues. She goes to Cassie and says, Cassie, whenever you're ready.
Oh, ready for what?
We will be heading back to our own camp for the night.
Oh, sure. That'll be fine.
Okay. Where is the cask sitting at?
This blonde druid is essentially sitting on it.
Oh, he's sitting
at this
on
point. Yeah. It's right underneath him, so he can easily refill his cup.
I don't see the emblem, do I?
I don't believe you saw it, no.
I mean, just looking at this guy as he was talking to me, I don't see it.
If you're like actively kind of eyeballing this guy up and down, go ahead and roll me a perception check. Yeah. And Cassie, the woman you've been talking to kind of throughout the night, places a hand upon your shoulder as as Mushi steps up for this. She says, best of luck to you in finding these memories that you seem to have lost. And well wishes to your mother and father.
And I nod her head and thank you, ma'am, I will. And I bow to her.
And she bows back. And Lothar, upon eyeing up this drunken guy, you notice when he goes to refill his cup, he kind of moves his leg a little bit and reveals this triangular symbol that you've seen before.
Okay. Where did we see that one before?
That was in the tunnel the tunnels underneath the city of Red Larch.
Was on the foreheads of the?
That was carved into the foreheads of the dead adventurers, as well as kind of dust was formed in that pattern around the petrified stone dwarf.
Okay. That too, I was not there for.
Miyoshi is going to walk around and once again thanking everyone for their hospitality and walk back this way towards the camp.
And as Miyoshi's walking away, she can hear another cheer coming from the bonfire. It seems to be only a lone voice this time. To new friends! All right, so
she's going to enter the camp.
Coming back. Lothar, could you do me a favor? Go ahead and click the button to cast that hut.
I would, but I have to wait. I have to wait for everybody to be in there.
Okay, so it's not actually there yet.
No, it's not. That's just where I'm going to put it.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to wait until everybody gets in there, otherwise they don't get in.
Mushi and Cassie go back to this point that the party kind of identified, and they're the only ones in this area.
Well.
Let's see. Oops, don't want to. I'm not trying to roll. Stop it. Oh my god. I can't get out of the dice roller because of Windows 10. All right. Every time I try to click the X button, it was like, nope. All right. I can see Cassie and Mushi, right? From where I'm at, they're 60 feet, right? Yeah. Okay.
If you can see him on your map, then you can see him.
Yes, I can see him.
Or screen. Yeah.
I'm gonna yell out. Wait right there. I'm gonna go and find Gerbender. So, I have no idea. I last saw him going down the hill, so I'm gonna see if I can find him.
And the blonde druid looks up to you and he says, "What's a Gerbender?"
He's a high knight from Draconia.
And Miyoshi is going to look at him and be like point behind her, like, what are you talking about? He's here.
Well, good evening, everyone.
And now you're standing on top of
Well, hey! Keep your dragon business to yourself, all right?
No, you were standing on top of Mushi.
Oh, I know what I was
You and
doing.
Illyria were the ones sneaking down to the bottom of the hill, okay?
Okay.
She went to go find the Gerbender who wasn't coming back.
And they said
Okay.
the barbecue will be ready about like around 7.
All right. I'll keep a low voice and. Is everyone ready? If you all want to get to rest, I can then cast our shelter, so that way you guys get a full rest before it ends.
Who farted?
So.
That's disgusting.
Bender, really?
Mushi said.
No. So I'll wait until everyone falls asleep, and then I'll cast it, just so everyone gets their full 8 hours before I cast it.
Doesn't it last 10 hours?
Only 8.
Yeah.
So.
And
All right.
Go ahead and cast it. We'll get our rest in.
Well, it takes. Yeah, I mean, it takes a minute, so I'm sure everyone's gonna chit chat, and then we'll fall asleep, and then I'll. Boop.
yes, Miyoshi would like to show Lothar her drink. Like, I didn't drink it. You see, I didn't drink it at all. If you would like to test this for any properties you feel it may have, it is yours for the taking.
And I'll whisper. I wasn't sure if it was tainted with anything. I don't trust casks coming out of tents, not seen being tapped. Also, I saw the symbol that was carved into the dead villagers back in Red Larch. It was on the side of the cask.
See, I told you we can't trust these people. We shouldn't stay here.
Well, if these people are involved with the villagers of Red Lodge, we need to find out why they are killing the villagers.
Yes.
They're obviously evil.
It's
They're
6:37.
harmless bugbears.
And we should stop evil, correct, Gerbender? We shouldn't just walk away.
Yes, but if you don't want to kill them, I don't want to stay with them.
Well, that's why we stay here. We go to the Keep Castle Tower thing, and we figure out what's going on.
And Miyoshi kind of like puts her hand up, like, I'm talking.
My turn.
And she says, I have already tried to get up to the tower. They will not let anyone pass. I do not plan on making a spectacle. I have already done that, and it has not ended well. However, I do have hope with one druid who wishes to see me in the 10th day. I believe he will give us information we seek, but for now, I do believe the best move would be to leave.
I have.
If it's just access to the tower you're after, I'm sure I could accomplish that.
I can get in quite easily if that is what we need to do. But we keep hearing a lot about this 10-day. I'm almost feeling like it's a countdown. Everybody says, wait for the 10-day, wait for the... What if we can't wait past the 10-day?
Those of you who are proficient in nature, go ahead and roll
Oh,
me
really?
a nature check.
Who's proficient in nature?
I don't think
No,
any
I
of
think
us.
no one.
nobody is.
Can I do a nature check? Let's see.
Are you proficient in it?
Proficient?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the word means.
1 second, let me...
If you look at your character sheet and you have a plus next to your
The number.
nature,
Oh, I don't have a plus side of nature. Shoot.
so nobody's proficient in
No.
nature.
I
All
have a
right.
-1. Surely that counts for something.
I have a positive one.
All right, so never mind. Go ahead.
I mean, I wish I had the plus side of nature. Shoot.
That's all right. That was one of those ones that I didn't understand. We had to change that for the druid. Yeah, intellect for nature. Yeah, that one worked out really well. And I'm gonna go ahead and cast the hut. I mean, I already did, but once we're inside the hut, I'm gonna let everybody know there was some side effects to that armor attaching itself to me, and I'll pull off my helmet. And
Real quick, does the hut like cancel out sounds? Like, is it like a soundproof thing?
no,
Okay.
no, it just that way
Well,
people
it's a hut.
can't see us, but it's
Okay.
still muffles sounds.
Okay. All right.
So what you're saying is that there were creeping vines with people on them coming up around the hut. They could hear us.
I'm just wondering,
Yeah,
like,
it
if
just
anyone
keeps
screams.
all it does is it's just basically a magical barrier that doesn't allow spells or people to pass through from the outside.
So
So it's basically
your
you're
question,
still out in the open.
Okay.
your question though was if we could hear out also.
Oh no, we can, and they
Yeah.
can hear us. They can hear our conversations.
Okay.
Well,
They just can't pass through.
no, because it takes on the appearance of like a dome something or other, doesn't it? I mean,
Like, the way I see it, it's essentially like a two-way mirror bubble
Mm-hmm.
that forms around you guys. So they can't see in, but you guys can see out.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
So, like,
And you can't
both
cast a
sides can
spell
still
through
hear
it.
either side.
Like
Can't
you-
do spells through it from either side.
So
Okay.
I said it keeps the rain off of us.
it
Oh, yeah.
does, and it says the atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry regardless of the weather outside. So we have dry shelter. Anyway,
So it's comfortable and dry in here.
I take off my helmet and let everybody see my wasting visage.
You're going to have to describe it. I need to know what my appropriate reaction is.
Ready.
This is definitely Ghoul from Fallout, so skin is
Already?
Oh yeah, that's where it started because I had to get freaking disadvantage on charisma save, so I figured the face is the first to go.
He was also kind of vigorously removing the red mud.
Oh, that's
he used
true. I
as a
totally
disguise.
peeled off my own skin while trying to get the paint off my face.
All right.
So I am okay. Let's put it this way: if you guys have seen Kingdom of Heaven, I'm the leopard guy, the king. Yeah, I have basically leprosy.
And Miyoshi is going to drop the mug she was holding. Be like, why didn't you tell us of this sooner?
It smacks the floor, and this drink kind of springs up and goes all over the place before the cup kind of rolls away.
There goes our dry area. I hope you're happy.
And within a moment or two, it dries itself out inside of this magical tent. Hut.
Well,
Gerbinder has a rather violent reaction to your appearance.
Sock him in the
Commander,
face.
I am still myself.
Hey, wait, I haven't got to the reaction yet.
Oh, sorry.
You know, you pull your mask off, he's like, ah! And he smacks you.
And there goes
Alright,
the other part
how
of the
much
cheek
damage
that
do
was
I
barely
take?
hanging.
What the hell's wrong with you?
I just said it wasn't my fault. Why are you hitting? You should be helping, not hurting me.
Sorry. I overreacted, but that armor wasn't cursed. We already figured that out.
I have a sense it
Wait.
does not want to be found out. It doesn't want to be identified. Really? Dadgummit. Alright.
However, you have no problem taking it off.
Correct. The loss of flesh does not stop when I remove the armor. I have a feeling we need powerful magics or divine intervention in order for this to stop.
Okay. Now that Commander's gotten his unwanted reaction out of the way, we can cast magic inside the tent, right?
Correct.
I think so, yeah.
You just can't like cast spells through. So anything that you want to do inside is fine, as far as I can tell.
All right. And once again, I do believe Gerbender did cast this Detect Evil and Good on Lothar in the armor before.
He did, yes.
Oh yeah, it is an area thing. It's not a
Okay.
specific. Okay, right. Never mind. I thought it was like a specific. I was checking the armor.
Well,
So.
you did before, and
One moment.
it came up with nothing, right?
Right.
Or you said that you noticed an evil thing and then it disappeared or something like that.
No,
that was when Cassie
maybe
cast
at one
Detect Magic. She noticed the illusion
Oh,
spell of the
Yeah,
invisible Lothar.
I was told that the armor may have at one point been cursed, but it
That's
was
what it
no.
was. That's what I meant.
But now that a lot of you are in this close proximity, Gerbender, you do notice a bit of a glowing from Illyria's pouch.
Oh shit!
Um,
Is this
have to
that
find this
thing
out.
that she got hit with like 20 sessions ago and we haven't figured it out yet, and it's reacting to my undead
It is
looking
not.
corpse? Okay.
Upon closer inspection, it appears that a gold sun elf statue that she has in her inventory seems to be glowing with this divine light to it. This good light.
This is
She's
something
hoarding
she hid
things
from.
again.
She has been hiding things from us. I see you now.
However,
Okay,
only
well,
Gerbender would see this, or is it something that close so everyone can see it?
it should just be me.
I believe it's just him.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we still don't know, guys.
This is kind of like a holy thing.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm
Shove it on his face.
But it is piercing through like her rucksack. So you can clearly see the outline of a sun elf in her pouch.
okay. I'm gonna kind of glance over at it and see it, but I'm not gonna say anything yet.
All right. But you're currently getting no more off of Lothar's armor than you did before. Like it seems like it had been cursed once upon a time, but this curse has since left this armor.
And he's not giving off any sense of evil or corruption.
You're not
or-
getting anything from Lothar either. No.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
would an
I'm going
Arcana
to-
check do any good, or did I already do that on the armor before?
I think you guys did that on the armor
I think
before.
we did.
Yeah.
Essentially, Arcana is whether or not you know it or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
And then spells like Detect Magic or Detect Evil and Good is like a whole other layer. Like, so
It's
even if you
more
don't know it,
specific.
you'll know it.
No, but I don't have anything useful.
I'm not positive. I think Cassie did cast Detect Magic on it.
Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
and she got a high enough roll to detect that there was
Yeah.
magic. but it was probably...
She only detected the illusion magic of Lothar being invisible.
Yeah.
And now I'm reaching over and trying to heal him.
All right, Lothar, you regain 5 hit points as Grubender places his hand upon you.
Woohoo. Kabender, don't touch me there. Sorry.
Sorry.
I sound like a
simply trying to-
I always
I was
always
trying
do
to
the
heal
different
that place
laughing.
on your face.
No, I'm sorry. It was a
I
prime
won't
opportunity
touch you there
for...
anymore.
Not the face, not the face.
I always make a different laugh. I don't do a lot of evil laughs. I do different kinds of laughs, like
And I'll point to my throat. I wasn't lying when I said I couldn't keep fluids down.
So, do you actually have a hole in your throat?
I'm gonna go with it.
That would probably make you less charismatic.
Yeah, just that and the whole looking like a ghoul thing.
Less
so.
bard-like.
Yeah, you know what? It wasn't my choice. Nope. It was.
We can blame Gabender for making
It
you
kinda
go on a walk
was.
while you were gone.
It was. But at the same time, I said, Zen, why don't you roll it into the story, and I'll just roll with it. So that's what we're doing.
It has been rolled into the story.
It has been rolled into
Just
the
saying,
story.
you were perfectly serviceable block bard.
How do we do this? There's so much stuff we don't know, and I do not like not knowing the answers.
Well, I can say that the rat is gone, and I am here, and I am still me, for the most part.
However, you're not very you at the same time.
Which is why I covered up.
We do appreciate that. I mean, no offense, but my God.
I understand
I mean,
completely.
You fleshy people are kind of ugly anyway, but really.
Imagine what it would do to one of your kind. That would just be hideous.
Yes, I've seen it before. It's called the mange.
Oh, was
Treatment for it.
Or was it molting? I can never tell the difference.
That's snakes. I am
Birds.
not
So-
a
Birds
snake.
molt.
You said your rat is gone now. Wasn't that your sort of
He was
divine being?
He was my connection to, yes, the divine power. He has left me, so my ability to call upon that divine power is gone.
You believe the rat is the only way you had the power to call upon them?
I believe so. He was there when I got the powers, and he left once the armor attached itself to me. And I no longer have those abilities within me.
Do you believe there's a way you could try and call him back? You meditated for a day, or it might help with this lovely curse that's helped itself upon you.
Possibly, but he only came to me in a dire time when I was surrounded by the undead and I was ready to give up my life. I doubt I would be able to call out to him in any situation less than that.
However, slowly, your life is slowly being taken from you. Wouldn't you agree that would be just as dire a situation?
It would be, but I don't feel my life force is being taken from me. I'm thinking I am being punished for not upholding the divine powers laws, as it were. I think this is a punishment. It is just taking away from my old self, my ability to talk out of situations, get myself out of situations by talking. But I'm still all here. I don't feel like I'm losing strength.
So, you're okay with this then?
I am... No, I'm... Look at my beautiful... What used to be my beautiful face. I am not okay with this. But it isn't threatening my life at the moment. So I have to take that as a blessing. And use this as motivation to change myself for the better and find a way to get rid of this rotting flesh.
Well, on one hand, we are surrounded by druids who could possibly help us if we asked. On the other hand, we are surrounded by druids who have asked us to leave.
Well, that is true. We are in quite the predicament, but I would say that we need to, at the very least, play along until we figure out what this ritual is truly meant to do. If it
Well,
go ahead.
in order to play along, they, at least one of the groups or two, have decided that it's best if we leave. So unless we go against their wishes, it's best we leave and not bother any of them anymore. As much as I want answers. Because believe me, I do.
This is true, but did the Elder Druid not say that he was happy to have us here? Wouldn't he have more say than some other druid from another camp?
I suppose in that part you are right. I do, however, fear for our safety. As much as I believe we'll be able to take on anything, I want to come to the answers in the best way we possibly can. I don't want to risk anyone's lives just for us staying. Including yours.
I agree completely. I would like to keep my life. But seeing what I saw on that cask tells me that these people are willing to sacrifice villagers. Innocent people for no reason. I believe that whatever they're conjuring or summoning or whatever they're doing cannot be helpful to this this country, this area.
Yeah, he's home.
Perhaps we should confront these druids as to where they got this cask from.
Bye-bye.
I agree.
And go from there.
And we should try to figure out who has the most clout with this Belazar character. We need to get to him. If he is running this, he has all the information. We need to get as close to him as possible.
I appreciate what you're planning, But I really don't think that confrontation is quite what we need. We have
I agree.
quite a few people around us, and I would prefer not to have to face them all. Why don't you simply let me, well, sneak out and observe?
What
And
do
then
you
we can
mean?
make a decision in the morning.
Which one
Is this
saying
Illyria or
this? That's what I
Gravender?
was gonna say.
Sorry, that was Illyria. I was trying a different,
Okay.
slightly different voice.
I thought it sounded different, but I was like,
I was
Gravender's
gonna.
not sneaky.
I was about to say, Gravender, you are not the sneakiest fellow.
I was totally okay with that. I was picturing all the clangs in my mind. I'm like, this is going to be great.
Hey guys, I'm sorry. I think my family says the dinner's ready. I'm not sure when I'll be back, but
Okay.
Okay.
yeah.
We'll
The
probably
dinner's
still
ready.
be here when you get back.
I sure hope so.
Okay. Okay. I'll be right back.
All right. See you in a little bit.
Adios.
Okay. Adios.
I'll say to Illyria, get your 4 hours of meditation. Get your meditation out of the way, and in the dead of night, do what you do best. And if
Trust me,
if
I
you,
know what I'm doing.
if you need us, send out your lights, and we will come running.
I appreciate your advice. I will give it all the consideration it is due.
She does not appreciate my advice.
No, she doesn't. Not even a little bit.
I love this.
And me and she would look at Illyria and be like, let us know anything as soon as you do. And be safe, because apparently out there, bugbears may be the good guys.
This is why I say we should leave. I would like to slay every person here, but clearly that is not an option. So I think it would be best if we simply left.
Is this Illyria or Gravender?
That would be Gravender.
Okay. Me, she would like to look at Gravender and be like, Gravender, you've never acted so vile towards anyone that I've known. May I ask, what is wrong?
I've never had to sit back and just accept that someone attempts to murder a friend of mine and I can't get retribution on them. It goes against my very essence not to slay that bugbear.
Oh, Gravender, you have no need to worry. I, in fact, did kill the bugbear who attempted an attack on my life.
Well, I saw 2 more still trying to come after you. And they're bugbears. They're vile, evil creatures. They should be destroyed.
I agree there's
I know
something
Droop was unusual. These bugbears clearly are not.
There is something amiss about this area, and we will find out what it is. Just give it time.
I am attempting to. That is why I left.
And she nods and she says, for now I will be getting some rest. And we will hear from Illyria in the morning to see what we need to do next.
I'm gonna put my helmet back on and cover my face.
Right.
Just so everyone can sleep.
We do appreciate that.
So at the very least, I'll assume that this is essentially kind of the first hour's worth of you guys kind of resting and not taking any strenuous activities. So
Yeah,
those of you who would like your short rest spells recharge or abilities recharge. You can spend any hit dice that you would so wish at this point in time before the long rest essentially takes effect.
Oh, see, now I've got to remember whether clerics get their spells back on a short rest or not.
I think it's long.
Yeah, I think it's long
I
too.
think the only people that get them on short rest is warlocks. But I have.
Did Moochie still need healing?
Hmm?
Did you still need healing?
Oh, we're about to take a long rest, but whenever he says spend your hit dice, I do it.
Also, this is going to be one of those things that I'm going to try to remember. Essentially, like the first hour of a long rest, I'm going to be trying to remember to say this, just in case it's ever interrupted by anything.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
Use your.
Because I know there
dice if
have
you
been
want
times
to.
in the past where you guys wanted to take like a long rest in a dungeon, and it got interrupted, and I probably didn't say use your hit dice. And
Well, let's put it this way. No one died from getting interrupted in the middle of the night. No, it was middle of the day in a cavern that someone died.
Who knew?
Who
Well,
knew?
this way it won't be my fault when things happen.
Yep. I regain all expended spell slots at the end of a long rest.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I'm gonna sit up for like maybe another 30 minutes to an hour after everyone falls asleep, just kind of contemplating what these symbols I've seen are,
All right.
and just see if I can pull anything from just travel all my travels, just to see if there's anything that might.
Have I shown Lothar the symbol on my hand yet? Because I know Illyria and Grabender's seen it, but I don't know if anyone else has.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, no.
Oops, I drew this upside down.
Well, maybe he'll see it while I'm sleeping and not stab me if I'm lucky.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe he's just going to
Oh,
creep
yeah.
on
I'm gonna be a creepy guy.
He's got the
I don't know what if I'm like sleeping and like my arms out. I'm like,
Did you just say I have the face of a creepy guy?
no.
Yes.
Yes, you do. Okay. As soon as it looks like people are kind of, chilling out and starting to fall asleep, Illyria's actually just going to go ahead and go because she doesn't really need a rest at this point.
All right. And she is able to pass through this hut without
Yes.
incident
Correct. And she can enter back in since she was in
Yes.
here during it.
when it was cast. Yes.
Correct.
And so what she's going to do is she's going to make a big loop around. Because when she was walking around the tower earlier, I'm assuming that any camps on the north side of the tower would have been visible.
Right.
So does it look like there's camps ringing everywhere?
So she sees these two camps on the west side of the hill, but there weren't any camps on the northernmost side.
Okay. So she's going to try to swing wide around those so that, she can just barely see, the firelight. So hopefully no one would have any ability to see her.
All right.
And of course, she's going to try to be very sneaky about it all.
All right. So go ahead and roll me a stealth check. Essentially, just in case she rolls a 1, really.
Well, she did actually roll a 1, but she rolled a 2 first.
Okay. So she's kind of cresting around the furthest reaches of her own vision for these
Right.
now dimming fires around these campsites.
She wants to swing back in. I'm just going to go ahead and, take her kind of straight through everything.
All right, that's fine.
There's no map out there.
We're using the theater of the mind to see.
So she's going to kind of swing back in from about there.
All right. So in Illyria's mind, she knows that she's circled roughly 2 druid camps
Right.
on the outskirts. And she's no longer hearing the kind of music emanating from this furthest camp that she heard earlier.
Okay. And she's going to continue to try to make her way up towards the tower. Now,
All right.
you
And
see
there's still these stone walls all about, and she can see the tower itself kind of over the walls.
Right. Does she see any indication of like lights in the tower or windows or anything like that?
There is flickering light. It could be a torch. It could be any number of things. But there does seem to be kind of not necessarily constant light as if the spell light had been cast, but a kind of flickering light inside emanating from the tower.
And does she see any windows around the sides that would be big enough for her to enter through?
So let me... One second. Do you see this over here?
I do, in fact.
So when she circled around the tower, she kind of saw this layout of the scaffolding.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can see it up here, she did see the scaffolding kind of led to an opening up roughly 30 feet up the tower.
Okay.
And then there was the hole that she saw on the roof about 90 to 100 feet up the tower that she was told about. And she did see this little bit of kind of walkway up there, kind of loose scaffolding up there when she circled around the tower earlier.
Okay. From where she is now, can she see anybody on the scaffolding?
Roll me a perception check for Illyria.
Perception check.
She should be pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Perception check. So she should be pretty good at stealth too.
She kind of cresting over this stone wall that she can see in front of her. She does make out the occasional tip of a spear moving along the walkway.
Okay.
Presumably from one of the sentries that she saw before.
Well, she's going to come up closer. Trying to kind of keep her line of sight hidden where she is from any sentries.
Right.
That walking path is. She's going to try and come up somewhat close to that wall there.
All right.
So the scaffolding is more on this side?
It was on the left and the right side of the tower. But when she circled it, it did not appear to be kind of along the back wall of the tower itself.
Right.
Like she does know that these stone walls continue around this side, but the tower is inside.
Okay, and so from where she is now, like she can see the rubble where the walls kind of collapsed out further on. But there's scaffolding kind of on both sides of the full wall.
Yes.
Okay.
So not the exterior walls, but the tower itself had scaffolding.
And how high above the exterior wall does the actual tower go?
So the exterior wall is roughly 20 feet up. The tower itself is about 100, 110, 120 feet total.
Okay, so the tower is actually, she can see way up there to it.
It's
okay,
just, there's no way for me to do it with dynamic lighting and roll.
Great. So from where she is now, can she see anyone or anything of interest?
It seems to be a relatively plain tower with the occasional flicker of light kind of up towards the roof. With her superior dark vision, she's able to make out the distinctiveness that probably would be not visible otherwise. And it's in alignment with the kind of flickering that she saw inside of the tower. So once again, it could be torchlight, it could be any number of things.
And there's no visible sentries. So if she were to try to go straight up the wall where she is into the tower.
So there are the two sentries she spotted earlier on the one on the left side scaffolding, one on the right side scaffolding.
Mm-hmm.
And so if either one of them were near the back, it'd be possible for for them to spot her.
Okay. Let me do
And
a
then
little
there was
checking.
also a guard that she saw kind of near the crumbled wall in
Right.
this area.
Ooh.
Oh, where is that spell? Spider climb. Ooh, up to an hour. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. I gotta run the dog back in.
Yeah.
Be right back.
All right, so back at the hut.
Yeah.
So back at the hut.
Mm-hmm.
Lothar, you said you're contemplating the symbols that you've seen.
Yep.
Do you know if you've already done a roll check for them?
Nope, because the only time I seen him when I wasn't here. So.
And I believe it happened in Thunder Tree when Lothar wasn't a member of the party. So Lothar,
Correct.
if you will, give me either an Arcana or a religion roll. Arcana, a religion, or a history roll. Your choice.
Oh, we'll use Arcana since I am, yeah, that one. Got a +6 to Arcana. Let's use that one. Son of a bitch. 14. Change the colors.
1 second.
Change.
Welcome to my life with Arcana.
I know. Arcana. Why do you gotta be? All right. I'm gonna go not red. Let's go green. Nobody else is green. Let's
It's like a ghoulish green.
Really? You're gonna go there?
Hey, it could be
Fine.
good.
Let's go Rotting Corpse Gray. You know. No, we'll go green. We'll see what happens. Really?
Oh no.
Bender is snoring. All right, so Lothar, thinking back on everything that you've learned in bardic colleges and various kind of chatter you've heard throughout numerous taverns you've performed in, these symbols aren't ringing any kind of bells to you.
Okay. New information.
Didn't I have to get a 21 to know what the fire one was?
So I did tell you guys that it was a 20 difficulty check,
Okay.
which, of course, you know, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have told you that.
No, you probably shouldn't have.
It was a 1 difficulty,
Sorry.
and you failed.
Of course, I've got a +6 to Arcana, and I still screwed it up. So.
That, you know what? It's
You're
totally
alright.
If
okay.
it makes you feel any better, I think that was like the single roll check where everyone did like outstanding.
Of course it was. All right. So I'm just gonna, I guess, go to sleep with dreams of this symbol in my head.
All right. And real quick, was this just after the kind of first hour that everyone was in the hut that Illyria scouted out, or was this after her 4 hours of long?
No, this was after everyone started kind of going to sleep. So after the first hour and a half.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
it should be like middle of the night.
Okay.
Speaking of how, is it, because there's these dying campfires, but is there still a lot of light? Is it like bright moon or anything? Or
The moon is only kind of like a distant glowing orb up above all the haze from the smoke,
okay.
excuse me, of all of these campfires, as the hill itself seems to have been kind of covered in this haze from the smoke itself. But
Okay.
as they're dying, they continue to waft up the smoke into the air.
Right.
And the moonlight is very dim in the distance, but it's providing no real kind of functional ability to see in this area. As Illyria would know, it's not really helping anyone on the ground to see. Like, it's still dark outside beyond these dying campfires.
Okay. So, assuming Illyria doesn't really see anything else around her of interest, she's going to cast Spider Climb from her
All right.
spider amulet,
All right.
and she's going to start climbing the walls.
Awesome.
So she's going to kind of come right up here where like the crux is, and just
All
go
right.
around up.
So she starts climbing up, and go ahead and roll me one more stealth check for
So
her.
obviously, she's trying to be very stealthy about it.
Yep.
That's better. It's like as soon as she gets near the top, she's going to like peek over and.
Okay. So as she gets to the top and it begins peeking over, it looks like the sentry on this side is essentially kind of fallen asleep in his duties.
Okay.
He proceeds to the crest of this exterior wall that she's made it to. It does proceed around to the side and does appear to connect to the scaffolding. And
excellent. So she wouldn't have to jump.
Yes. So she doesn't have to jump 5 feet.
Okay. So she's going to make her way kind of around that and then onto the scaffolding again, trying to keep an eye out for any additional sentries.
Okay.
This one seems to have fallen asleep.
And with that, I'm going to move you over to here.
Okay.
As she's kind of made her way over to the scaffolding from the wall. And she knows that the sentry up above her is asleep.
All right. Well, she's going to, again, keeping an eye out. In fact, now that she's close to the tower and she can climb freely on the tower.
Yeah.
She's not even gonna walk on the scaffolding. She's gonna try to keep that stable and just leave him alone. Try to go over to, I guess that would be the tower wall. Walk up it as best she can without disturbing the scaffolding.
Okay. So she is able to make it after a few kind of measly steps up. She makes it up the scaffolding, and she sees the stone wall on this western side of the tower seems to have been, it's got a hole kind of punctured into its side with a ladder leading up the hole.
Okay.
And the dozing sentry guard just on the edge of the scaffolding.
Okay. And from nice, Lucas. So from where the hole in the tower is, can she get over to that and kind of peek in and see what she can see?
If she would like to essentially walk up the wall and then kind of peek in.
Yeah, kind of from the side.
Okay. Roll me one more stealth check for that.
Okay.
Fucking natural 20. She peeks her head in, and inside she can see a poorly conditioned wooden floor, as if it's been aged for a number of years, with a large hole kind of cracked throughout the wooden floor. Smoke continues to billow up this tower from the hole inside of the floor. She can make out steps leading further up the tower. She can see 2 more guards inside, dressed in similar garb to the sentry outside, and she can make out what appears to be a bronze dwarf with, rather than hair of his own, it seems to be pure flame engulfing his head, as well as the weapon that he's wielding, as they are kind of marching about this entryway.
Okay. Well, she is not going to peek in any longer than necessary. This area on the map to the south, is that just another wall where it's just flat across there?
Sorry, can you do the ping one more time?
Like right down here? Because it looks like there must be a wall or something there, and
So
then
that
there.
is the wall itself. Yeah.
Okay.
So the hole in the floor seems to go almost all the way through this floor.
Okay. And the guards that she sees are paying more attention.
They seem to not take notice of her.
Well, not of her. Just mean they're awake.
They are awake, but they don't notice her at all.
Okay.
But the flaming dwarf individual does have like a burning hammer at the ready.
Right.
Whereas the other two guards, their weapons are currently sheathed.
Okay, and the tower continues up above where she is now.
Yes.
Okay, she's gonna take that quick look in, kind of scout that, and then come back and continue up the tower.
All right. So continuing up the tower, she makes it 10, 20, 30 feet up towards the tip of the tower, where the stone wall itself begins to crest into the kind of tile work that's been done on top of the roof. And she makes her way to a wooden platform. 1 second. And there is a hole in the roof with a ladder leading up to it. All around her seem to be kind of roofing supplies of various sorts, kind of giving the indication as if this scaffolding had been put there for the repair of the roof. As now that she's significantly closer than she was before, she can make out kind of patches in the roof, kind of tiles missing here and there that seem to be present in these crates and the like. There's quantities of rope all around her, hammers, nails, all sorts of supplies, as if giving the impression of a kind of carpenter's tool set for this roof. Everything that you would need to repair it.
Okay. Then where she is up here, she's going to step, again, just glancing in, try to get a view of what's down that ladder or in through the hole she can see.
All right. How about one more stealth check?
Man, that natural 20 doesn't carry me through.
Not for 100 feet later.
Okay, well, 26 then.
And
That's why it pays to be sneaky.
all right, so this chamber seems to be kind of a little smaller up towards the top of it than the last room that you saw, probably because it's under this tower's angled roof.
Right.
You can see that through this hole in the ceiling, another ladder leading further down into the tower, as well as what appears to be a kind of very poorly conditioned wooden floor. Cracks kind of run rampant throughout it, and it doesn't seem to be in the best of conditions.
Is the smoke still kind of like filtering up through all this stuff?
It is, and it's going up through this hole you can see where the ladder is, and continues to waft out, essentially acting as if the hole that you're currently looking through as if that were some kind of chimney.
Right. So if she tries to look too long, she's basically getting a face full of smoke.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, since she seems to be fairly alone up here, she's going to take a moment, try to get a real good feel for the layout of this room, where the ladder goes in relation to all the other stuff she's looked at, and also try to figure out if she's ever seen or heard or might have heard whispers about a dwarf with, fire hair.
All right, so roll me an intelligence check and a perception check.
Okay, intelligence check. And perception check.
All right.
15 for both.
So, having lived in the Underdark with numerous other drows, she knows that occasionally are dwarven individuals known as Azer,
Okay.
which are essentially bronze statues of dwarves brought to life through the elemental plane of fire's magic. they themselves are kind of natural crafters, expert miners, and sworn foes of Ifriti.
Okay.
In appearance and manner, they act and resemble dwarves, as she saw, but they themselves have metallic skin as opposed to dwarves, and the Azer themselves are essentially made of fire, which kind of extrudes from their bodies through their beards and hair.
Oh, I took the wrong revelation. Damn it.
Just picked the wrong class. Why couldn't you be a fire dwarf thing?
Well, I've got a thing for that.
Since you're a ghoul.
I've got a thing for fire dwarves.
Well, if I would have taken the other revelation, I could actually rust his body. So...
Anyway.
And
unless we get level 6 tonight, I'm sure that's not happening.
Okay.
And 1 second. She also, while she's kind of thinking back on this history of these flaming dwarves, she hears the large fluttering of some kind of creature within this tower.
Oh, lovely.
Numerous creatures, in fact.
Does she think it sounds like bats?
Like bats.
She might think that, but this sounds significantly larger than...
That's what I was thinking.
Are they dire bats? Sorry. I had to go there.
Oh no.
They're vampires. Run away.
And so, I mean, she's got dark vision, and granted it's smoky, she doesn't see anything like on the ceiling, or trying to look around.
She, peering through this hole across the way, now kind of glancing towards the ceiling of this room, she sees hanging upside down from one of the rafters what looks to be a bat, but massive.
Really massive bat.
Nearly twice the size of Illyria herself.
Really massive bat.
It's a dire bat.
It's a dragon bat.
I knew it. It's a dire bat.
And she would know that, judging from the flattering of wings that she heard, this one wouldn't be alone.
Right.
It's a fly.
So she's going to back away slowly and quietly.
Would you call this a murder of dire bats?
I would not.
Instead of a murder of crows, it's a murder of dire bats. Anyway.
Guessing spider climb doesn't give you special falling abilities, does it?
Apparently, it didn't work for a spider.
I have a
Just
potion
throwing
of
it out
flying.
there.
Oh, look who remembered their potion of flying this time.
Oh, damn.
Okay. She is going to, as quietly and stealthily as possible,
Make her way back down.
way back down.
All right. Go ahead and roll me one more stealth check as she makes her way by the sleeping sentry.
He's asleep, so I get advantage, right?
No.
I would say not with a natural 1, no.
Oh, you natural one that?
He rolled
no.
He rolled a 2 on his perception earlier, which is, I was like, okay, so he's asleep.
Yep.
But this time, Illyria kind of misjudges the last step of hers. And as she's stepping onto a ladder, making her way down, there's an audible snap and crunch, followed by the sentry jerking his gaze up to meet Illyria's.
Oh.
I sure hope she has a really good lie for being up there.
Did you give her a nat 1? Like, how?
You see the... Oh, I don't think
we
you guys
don't get the
know.
rolls anymore.
I can't
So-
see it.
Illyria rolled a nat 1 for stealth.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Yeah. So this guard that is the sentry who is now standing in front of her draws his weapon.
Wait, okay, now you move me over to this platform here. She's not standing like right next to the hole, is she? Surely not.
No. Feel free to move her along the kind of the scaffolding.
Okay, yeah, she's trying to take the safest possible way down.
Like the furthest route.
Yeah, so as far as she can get away from everything, and she's trying to get down, and she's not trying to discover anything anymore. She just wants down.
Okay. So as she's kind of making her way down, this
snap, crack,
snap
pop
of the floor in front of her. She catches her balance so as to not fall off the scaffolding, but as she does so, she notices the glare of this sentry who's upon the same scaffolding as her.
Okay, so given the distance where we are,
Yep.
can he actually see her? Or did he hear a noise?
He did hear a noise, but he cannot see. So I will give you a essentially free round to do as you would like.
Okay.
Run!
Let's see. Spider climb is a concentration spell. What?
Yeah, Gerbender and the 5 others out of there.
Seriously.
Nice. So
Illyria can see this guy is now standing up and
Right,
turning around.
and I have a plan.
Okay.
I've got to figure out what it takes. Because she has her, like, orb of darkness thing.
The spell darkness?
Of
Yeah.
darkness.
So, okay,
There is the faint glow kind of coming out from the hole in the side of the wall.
it's also a concentration spell, though.
Yes.
So that would mean she would lose her
Spider climb.
spider climb.
Wah wah.
Okay. Then what she is going to do, because I don't think she has any sort of, like, invisibility potion or anything.
Nope.
I'll just double check.
I highly doubt she has one.
She has an invisibility potion.
What?
Of course she does.
$10 says that Ruby's going to be totally pissed with
Oh,
if she
she's-
drinks that potion.
She's going to be so pissed.
She's going to come back.
Sorry,
"Where's
you
my
rolled a 1.
Unless she has one of these, she has it.
Be like, in all fairness, you weren't going to remember you had a potion anyway, so I used it."
That's amazing.
Okay.
I've got
wanna
one.
say
She
that.
wants to move. She's going to move away from this guy. Like, if she's near the edge of the scaffolding and can get on the
Just
wall again to go
Continue
down,
on her way down.
she's going to do her best to just keep going down. I mean, she's trying not to make any noise, obviously.
Right.
But she's also reaching into her pack to pull out that invisibility potion. If that guy comes over and it looks like he's getting close, she's going to drink it.
All right. So roll me one more stealth check.
She trips and falls off the cliff.
That's 2 natural 20s since we started this.
Not only is
adventure.
it 2 natural 20s,
Natural blue. I
That's
was like,
3
no!
natural
I
20s.
was like, not only did I just roll a 1 before, he made me roll the stealth again, it was double nat 20s.
Illyria turns into a shadow and disappears into the night.
She takes a zip line from
It's-
there to the camp.
Miraculous what she just pulled off.
And
Oh
she
my
didn't even
God.
have to drink her potion.
She makes her way down the wall.
Sorry.
And she is Gerbender and the 5 others out.
Don't.
Oh goodness.
All right. She is gone like a whisper in the wind.
And she's gonna again circle way back around,
All right.
come back to the tent or the thing, whatever we're gonna call it.
I'll go ahead and just move her there.
I tried, it didn't just take her. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This has taken roughly an hour, so 5 hours into this long rest, Illyria pops back into the hut.
Wait, 5 hours in.
She
Because
Like 2.5 hours, right?
no,
well, she waited the 4 hours
No,
for
she
her
didn't.
own long rest.
no.
You waited like an hour and a half,
Okay.
then went out and did this.
Okay, so roughly 2.5 hours later.
Right.
Roughly 2.5 hours after this long rest has begun.
There we go.
Yeah, so
Illyria walks back in.
I should be asleep by then. By the time
Yeah,
she gets
she's assuming everyone's asleep, and she's just gonna, sit. She's gonna start meditating, and when they wake up in the morning, she's going to casually tell them everything that she found out,
By the way,
and not mention a damn thing about the snap crack thing.
by the way, I fell through a scaffolding, but nobody noticed because when
Never
a tree
happened.
falls in the wood, nobody there.
Exactly. If you almost get caught by a guard and no one's around to see it, it never happened.
It never happened. Yeah, that's what Rom said before he fell to his death.
Well,
Nobody was
There was
around.
a guard
if
there.
you jump from a cliff, even if no one sees it, you still die.
All right, so is she going to wake anyone up at this point in time, or is she going to just wait for them to wake up on their own?
She's just gonna wait. She's playing
Alright.
it cool because she's like
Oh,
that.
we can see everything.
All right, so the sun rises overhead while Illyria is kind of waiting for the rest of her team.
And she gets really annoyed with the sunlight.
to
She's
And
scowling.
right up.
furious at this bright light shining down upon her while she's waiting for the rest of her team for hours and hours more than she would have to wait on her own.
Yep.
But eventually, one by one, the party members begin opening their eyes, still within the confines of this hut, and they greet each other as well as Lothar's rotting face.
I'm covered.
So, out of curiosity, for what Illyria would know about the Azer, would she be able to know generally what's in the monster manual, or would she only generally know what you just told us?
I would say probably generally what I told you.
Okay.
Heard of them.
I would
doesn't
give
know a whole
you the
bunch.
monster manual with like a 20 or above.
Fair enough. I honestly have no idea how common Azer are in the Underdark or anything, so.
Like she's run into a couple, but she knows that they're more native to the elemental plane of fire.
Right. Got it.
All right, who would like to wake up first?
I think I went to sleep first, so I'll wake up.
Yeah, I was the last one to go to sleep, so I'll be the last one to wake up.
And I assume Cassie will wake up slowly too.
Actually, we could even take our break right there.
That would